It's kind of.
So that's the only way I can edit details on that.
Yeah, not with this. So if you want that level of details, then you use something like ML Engine to build your custom model. Because again, this is more for folks that are not really data scientists. Like if you talk to a business person, they wouldn't know what layers and learning rate and like that level of details is not important usually to them. But if you are data scientists where you want to tweak and you want to understand how the model works, then that's a different audience. These are not pre-trained. Also, it's partially pre-trained, but it's adding your own data to customize the model with your data. Transfer learning, exactly. I think Sean is telling me to get off this.
You cannot be a professional or expert. I use it for 2 seconds.
We still have some Q&A. Okay. Yes.
So for the API, we can combine with our custom layers and matrixes. So if we combine our own data, so what's the backpack? So I mean, for all model we need to implement, right? So would it be what's the outcome of the model, but also the coding or also API, how to connect the model, how to system.
Yeah. So with these ML APIs, the division NLP, like these types of APIs, you just pass in the thing that you want to predict, and then it just outputs the prediction. Right? So for example, natural language processing, you're passing text. That would be the input, and the output would be, for example, the entities and the sentiment of the text that you pass in. So it's just an API call.
You cannot change the model itself.
That's right.
Okay.
These are more catered towards developers. And actually, I'm going to show you a slide later on to show how one customer are leveraging multiple of these as input to their own custom models. Because what you can do is you can chain them together, right? You maybe I'll jump to that.
I think I'm more interested in the middle, in AutoML.
Yeah.
Before some of the real vectors, and then it's combined with one-to-one change or one to change. So what's that? And the API is, it's kind of already set on API, but well, anything can pull from API, and then just our own thing, and then change models and things like that.
Yeah, so these two are not really meant to be changed much. So if you want to change anything, you typically would just build your own model. These are more for folks that are not really data scientists. It's more for focusing on an application or a use case that they want to get up and running quickly.
POC.
And well, yeah, it's not just necessarily POC, but there are use cases where customers are using these APIs in their application to do things. So for sure. So one use case that we see a lot of is using vision to do OCR, or optical character recognition. That helps a lot in things like processing forms, for example. And so that's one. And NLP is another one where we see a lot of customers that are using. Sorry, there's a question. I'm almost done. Yeah, just very quick note here on Data Studio. So what it is if you're familiar with Tableau, Click, Looker, it's a visualization tool. And the neat thing about, sorry, this image is a little small. The neat thing about this, two main things is that there are data sources that is readily, integration is already built in, so you just have to pick and choose, for example, GA360. If you're doing web analytics or marketing analytics, you would use, pick and choose those data sources, and you can easily just create visualizations like these. The nice thing, though, about these dashboards is that if you're familiar with Google Docs and Google Sheets, where you can collaborate with other people at the same time, in real time, same thing with this. So you have multiple people that are creating dashboards or creating pages for a report, for example. All of you can have you can work on it together, and so you don't have to send, give someone, you still have to give permission to someone to change anything, but you can see real time what someone is doing on the dashboard. So this is the example I wanted to touch on. Sorry, the slide is kind of moving here, so you might not be able to read well. But this is an example use case of a customer that wants to reduce bad debt for financial customers. And so what they're doing is they're taking, they're doing OCR, so looking at the forms that customers are filling out, and also looking at NLP, the result of the NLP API, passing these two into ML engine to build their own custom model. So these two, they are APIs on their own, and you can't really change the output of these, but they are using these outputs as input to their models. That's awesome. That's great.
I want to hold it for longer.
So you need someone to help. Is that that's what you're saying? So this is really neat because essentially chaining the different models that are readily available to them, and building a custom model to do what they want to do. And this kind of goes into a lot of different areas as well.
I think this might be my last slide.
Yeah, so that is my last slide. So this is just to summarize. I talked about network security. This is covering things like App Engine, so serverless workload. And then I spent a lot of time on serverless and data processing and machine learning services. I think that's it. I'm back.
So can you make some comparison with the AWS?
I can talk generally.
Yes.
Because I'm not an AWS expert. I think AWS is, as you know, they've been around for a long time, right? I think they've been around for more than 10 years. I think where we are different is where we started from as a company, and similarly for them, it's where they came from. Right? We are, like I mentioned, we're highly data-driven. We need to because we have to need to, and so our focus has been building that out. And so we can really see it in the services that we have. For AWS, I see that we have the camera rolling, but I would say,
don't worry.
I would say that they are, when it comes to infrastructure, they're great. Right? I think we have really good infrastructure as well, just as good. But I think from speaking with customers, a lot of them are telling us that if they're doing infrastructure hosting, they'll likely go to AWS because they have been using AWS because they've been around for so long, right? And so our focus, of course, we want to win in all fronts, but I think that our focus and our key differentiator is on the data side. And what we see a lot of customers are telling us is that they're choosing us as the data cloud, as the machine learning cloud. And every customer that we talk to, they all understand how we're different on that space. So I don't know if I answered your question. I might have dodged it a little bit, but I'll just leave it at that.
Yep.
And I have a couple of things.
Yeah, can I have a question?
I just want to add a couple of things.
Oh, you want now?
No.
Oh.
The AWS.
Okay.
I know, besides the AWS definitely the infrastructure is stronger, but GCP catches a lot of customers' attention on some of the new things. I was always wondering why Google always got all the buzzwords, right? The Kubernetes and the TensorFlow, and then nowadays the container management with Kubernetes. Everybody is actually exploring that and jumping on board. And especially there's so many successful examples in those. What is the video?
Netflix.
Netflix, yeah. And AWS also do that, but Google open source it. Of course, Google can do better in that area, right? Same thing to TensorFlow. So I think those are the strengths of GCP.
Absolutely. You brought up a really good point. So we are, as Sean mentioned, we are the originator. We are the creator of Kubernetes. And we've had Kubernetes as a service for more than 4 years. Now we're starting to hear AWS and Azure, they have their own Kubernetes service, but they
IBM
still.
as well.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. But no, what I'm saying is that we've had 4+ years of learning in Kubernetes and bringing that to the market, whereas other cloud providers are just starting. And I'll feel is that they will run into some pains, and they will see how there are areas that how we're very different, and it's going to take some catching up on those specific areas.
Yeah, so the question is actually taken before the workshop, like a seminar. So nowadays, I know the Google Cloud become popular even from company that ask how to get a GCP certificate. Is that hard to get? And is somehow maybe give a little bit introduction about the certificate? Yeah.
For sure. So there are 3 certificates now. Actually, I think there might be more than 3. Personally, I've only done 1 so far. I've done the Cloud Architect certification, and I believe it's 2 hours, and don't remember how many questions. I did that a while ago. But it's not hard in the sense of you have to memorize a lot of stuff, but it's the interpretation of the questions more. So you have to really be careful and read the question and understand what it's asking, and there's some tricks, like tricky things in there. But what I was told is that there's a lot of there are a couple websites out there now with good sample tests that you can take that is very similar to the actual test. So if anyone is interested, you should look up those sites and do some practice.
Did you take the certification before you joined them?
No.
After you
It was after. I think
So
when
then you have some on the training.
yeah, and also when I first joined, I didn't think the certification was available yet. It was still new. So yeah, it wasn't available, but yeah, so on the job, I did some training. There are some training courses you can take. Coursera has some really good courses as well for the Coursera. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Any more questions?
How about price?
Is there a specific service you want?
Yeah, the service price.
Yeah, because there are like 100 services and they're all charged differently. So if you
For the beginner.
oh sorry for
For the beginner, just like using stuff like using the service.
it's really hard
Well, I
because
think once they try to play around with the
Yeah,
standards.
I think like at least a half a year ago when you open an account you get some credit.
Yeah,
Still
300
it's still true. Yeah, you should get $300 on
$300
yeah.
you can play around for 6 months.
I think it's 12 months now. It used to be like 2 months, and they've increased it to 12 months. And there's also a lot of the services have a free tier, where, like, for example, if you want to create a VM, I think it's free if you have a really small VM. And for BigQuery, if you have tiny data, then you can use it for free as well. So it's practically free if you want to just try things out.
Okay, so I think Patrick will be.
I'll be around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Patrick will still be here. So after this, you can open them our next CAG session. After that, you can still ask the questions.
Yeah, so don't have break. Then because we have no more time, just continue. So can you just let everybody know the group, the WeChat? So maybe ask to speaker join the group so they can share the if a question can even ask in the WeChat. So we just the people 你们后来的人可以加一个，我们有 create 一个 WeChat today。